Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, January 8th. It is 6:28 right now. We have market opening up in about 2 minutes. So if you guys are looking to take the breakout for the day, it is going to be against momentum. Here's the criteria right here. So before you get started, guys, just another reminder, I am registered with the CFTC and NFA as a professional trader, commodity trading advisor. Futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the markets as discussed, but my views may change based on the market conditions. If I share any hypotheticals or backtest results, they may have significant limitations and do not represent actual trading. So, all right, guys, if you guys are looking to take the breakout, it's going to be a buy for today since it is against momentum. It's not a strong trade, but I mean, for those of you who are looking to take the breakout for the day, it is going to be a buy. So it's currently running right there in profit, guys. Market is now open. There goes the breakout. Depending on what your target is, 40 points is almost hit right there. Again, if you guys want to take this, take an extra on risk. I don't take the breakout very much, but for those of you who like to take it, it is currently running in profit. If you're going for 40 points just hit right there for a full TP. If you're going for 50 points is about to get hit right there, full TP. If you guys went for 60 points, 60 points is about to get hit right there, full TP. If you're going for 80 points is about to get hit right there, full TP as well. All right, so it doesn't matter how many points you went for the breakout for today. They all hit 40 points, 50 points, 60 points, 80 points. Everything got it right there, straight to target. So solid push right there. And yeah, pretty great. Yeah, Masij said he took it as well. Steven, it's been against momentum for the past like 3 months. So it's always been against momentum. Why didn't you take it, Steven? See, this is the problem with this, not specifically with the strategy, but I think with you, Steven, you have to be consistent with taking the trades, right? You can't take days like this off because you're here and you're present. So I don't understand why you skipped it. If you skip trades like this is not going to it's not going to help with your consistency because you're missing out on the good trades and then you're taking the losers. Well, you're not that's the case, but I'm saying that that's going to be the case if you skip trades. So if you guys want to take the breakout, you guys can't be scared. You guys got to take the position. If I tell you it's against momentum and it's for a buy, you got to take the trade. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna take it today. I'm not gonna take it tomorrow, because this is where it becomes a problem. If you miss these trades, you're set back pretty far because you miss one trade, you miss two trades, you miss three trades, then you're screwed because you might start taking the trades when it goes into a losing streak. So. Yeah, I mean, nice to everybody here who took it. Lila caught it, Paul got it, Mendez caught it, Masij caught it. Surprisingly, I didn't think Masij was going to take that. Ben got it. So great work to you guys here who caught it. Like I said, it doesn't matter which target you're using. All the targets for the most part work. It's just, if your stop loss is really tight, you're gonna get stopped out a lot in a lot of cases. But these are the parameters here for for 80/20. So, guys, here's one thing that I've noticed and what I've seen over the years when we take the breakout. If you see price pushing in one direction and it goes back the other way, it's gonna probably hit. Like that's like just how it works, like a lot of times because it's like basic supply and demand concepts or concepts of basically filling the gap, right? Because a lot of times if it moves a certain way pre-market, if it spikes another way, it's likely to push up. And especially if you have a target right here, or not a target, but you have some sort of area for it to reach, it's likely going to hit. So just keep that in mind, guys. But yeah, Steven, I don't. It's unfortunate that you missed this trade. I don't know why you didn't take it. Um, it's odd because you take the bad ones, but then like when the bad trade, like yesterday was a bad trade. I would have skipped yesterday's trade and and other days. But like today was a really good one. It looked pretty smooth, and you decided to skip it for some reason. Um, I mean, it's all good, Steven. It's okay. I just want to make sure you understand that you can't skip trades like this because yeah, like if you took, I know you took a win yesterday, but if you took a loss yesterday and then you miss this trade, then you're like you're set at such a disadvantage in a sense. So yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about it later, Steven, you can talk to me about it. But yeah, fortunately, yeah, exactly. Steven said he skipped yesterday and he got FOMO today. Yeah, so you have to be consistent with your entry, Steven, because you're doing a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So if you took yesterday's and you lost and you took today's and you won, you'd be in profit overall. Um, so I mean it's okay. I just want to make sure you get that. This is from today, Steven? Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about, Steven. Like you're kind of taking random trades. You took a sell here. Or did you take a buy? Did you take a buy or a sell? I can't tell. Okay, so it looks like you got in, but you got in late, right? But your profits here aren't where it should be. Like you should have made about 4,000 for the day. I get it. You got in late and you still made your profit because luckily the price kept moving up. But you just want to be consistent with your entries. Okay, you just got to be consistent with your entries. So, I mean, you can keep doing what you're doing, Steven. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. But if you want to be consistent and you want to have consistent profits or consistent profitability, you got to stay consistent with it, right? You can't get FOMO, you can't get scared, you can't skip trades. That's especially if you're just taking one trade per day. So, okay, no, just want to make sure you get that, Steven. I know you've been trading with me for years and years and years, and I just want to make sure that you're finally getting to that point where you find consistency. All right, Steven, we'll see you back here tomorrow. So that's Steven's game plan. All he does is take the breakout every morning, or I hope he does, or he tries to. Today, unfortunately, he got it. Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, he still made profit on it, but he got out. He got in late. Typically, Steven would try to reach 4,000 for the day. He made 2,000, so he made half of his goal. Um, but yeah, it's really just consistent consistency. Steve said, "Why doesn't he just join the hedge fund?" He wants to, he wants to, but he just doesn't have the funds to fund his own account. Steven's been part of the group for a long time. If you guys have been trading with me for a while, Steven has been here from probably the very beginning. Um, he's had a lot of ups and downs. He's yeah. If you guys have most of you guys know Steven. He's a funny guy when it comes to his trading. Um, but he means well, right? He means well. We know him. We always mess around with him. He's Putin's best friend, apparently. Uh, and yeah, I'm just hoping that this is going to be his year because he's been with us. Yeah, Solange said gambler like some of us used to be, basically. Yeah, no, he's been around for a long time. It's just he can't find the consistency. Like he'll like today he made 2,000. I wouldn't be surprised if he messages me later today and he's like, "Hey Sean, I took a gold trade and I blew all my whole account." Because that's what he does. He doesn't have consistency or the patience to wait. Like he'll get bored in the afternoon and then he'll trade Asia or he'll trade Asia gold and then he'll blow his account. It's like it's funny, but it's not in a sense. It's not funny if it's you because yeah, every time he passes in an account, and this isn't to downplay Steven, this is just how he is, and he understands this is his problem. Every time he gets a funded account, he'll take the breakout, he'll get funded, and then he'll trade like as soon as he gets funded, like if you pass an account with Apex in the afternoon, that's where they send you the email to move to PA. He'll move to PA, and then after that, he'll do a completely different strategy on gold and just blow the account in like one trade. And then it's just back to baseline. Asus is asking, Sean, is the 629 breakout base buy sell based on the algo? Yes, that is correct. So I have it right here set up in my criteria. So this is a once a day strategy. We don't really care about like what the what the probabilities are because it's an everyday strategy, right? So with this right here, I have it set to against momentum. It's higher on the against side, right? It is on the against because if you go to with momentum, and again, you can set your parameters here to see whatever like TP stop loss you want, but the traditional one's 80/40. So if you go to with momentum, it's 20% probability. So obviously you're not going to go with momentum, you're going to go against it. Yeah, you just ch change it from with or against, and whatever has a higher probability, that's the direction that you would take it. Yeah, Andrew said that mid-morning boredom will get you. It's hard not to go back to the charts. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like completely done at 8 o'clock. I don't bother looking at the charts at all because I know if I look at the charts, I'm gonna make mistakes where I will I'll regret it later. So, all right, guys, if you guys are looking for the entries for today, we have a listed entry at 646. That's going to be against momentum. That's the first one. Our first target entry isn't until after 7 o'clock. So we don't really have anything for right now. I'll keep following and we'll see what happens here as price continues to move along. But I'll put the criteria here for the target entry. So this is going to be our target entry coming up later today, our first target entry. If you guys look at the list, there's actually there is a cluster of target entries. There's about five entries that follow up with each other, or four entries. So I'm gonna try to get in with the first one, but we'll kind of see where it is. So I was talking to a lot yesterday. I think you're in here a lot, right? There's a strategy here that it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like something to necessarily I mean, it is a good strategy. So here, I'll just show you what it is. So basically, it's a pivot scalp, but not entering on the momentum. It's kind of like a mixture between pivot scalp and let's see, what else do I say? And MPSV2. So basically, right here, you'd look for price to kind of break past this area, and this might be something you want to look into, Masij, as well. It's just I don't think we could backtest this properly because it's based off an active candle. But looking at this right here, see how the pivot starts to fan out? This starts to indicate that the trend is starting to get very heavy, right? Because once they start to fan out, you have level one, two, and three pretty much aligned perfectly. Um, and I'll replay it. Here, I'll just go on a different chart. So I'll replay it from right here when they start to fan out. So basically, what you want to look for here is you want to look for the buy signal, and you want to see for these, you want to see the pivot start to fan out because this is going to indicate that price is now starting off a bullish trend, right? Like a very strong bullish trend. So looking at this right here, you can see how the pivots start to fan out. What I would do here in this situation is I would put like a limit order just hanging out right here for a buy. This is more of a longer day trade type hold. We've done this strategy before in the past. I just never solidified it into an actual strategy. This is kind of similar to the market flow V2, but this is like a bigger scale type move because it's a bigger target, right? 100 points. So basically, you're just waiting for price to come back down. As it gets closer to this blue line right here, I'm just going to trail it so that when it comes down, it fills your order. So right there, see how it fills it? Because it comes back down to retest this. And the pattern that you're looking for is basically break and retest and continuation to the upside. So now that we have that, you would be in this position right here. The problem with quantifying this into a backtest script is that you'd have to wait for the candle to close. And the problem with this, which was the same problem with the market flow V2, is that you can't make a backtest off active candles, right? It has to be based off close because the entry would actually happen up here when it should happen down here. So with that being the case, this trade would be running and see how it pushes up to 100 points. This is something that could be taken once a day if you want just a once a day type strategy. Confirm momentum, confirm trend, and then you just let the trade play out. I've been testing this for the past couple weeks. It's been really good. There's going to be time periods where it doesn't work out very well because obviously we're not always in a trending market. In some months, some days, we're in a choppy market, right? And that becomes a problem because if you're taking a trade like this, you might get stopped out before it goes up. So if you guys want to look into something like this, I mean, feel free to take a look. This isn't something new. We've done this years ago. I think during COVID when the volatility was high, because the volatility is really high right now, right? ATR is at 40. It's like, okay, this is a good time to take trending type moves. You do need to have a wide stop loss because you need to be able to stomach any pullback. But this is something that if you guys want to look into it, feel free to. Very simple again. Momentum, trend, retracement, pullback, pending order, and then you just let the trade do what it needs to do. But all right, with that said, I just wanted to mention that because I did tell it a lot. I was going to explain that yesterday, or I was going to explain it today. So there's always different ways to improve and do things better. Um, let's see. Hey Sam, yeah, good news earlier. Nice. Sam took a full TP on the MPS V2. There's an MPS V2 that came up right here, but I don't know if it won. No, see, this is why the MPS V2 is very tricky when the volatility is too high. Because like I said, the ATR is at 40. If your stop loss is at 20, it's really easy to get stopped out of this trade here, right? And if you guys took the MPS V2 right there, you probably would have gotten stopped out in a sense. Whether you got in there, if you got in at the top period. That's why for me personally, I like the retracement back to the pivots because it gives you a deeper pullback. Like you're not getting in too early, you're not getting in too late, you're kind of just waiting for it to come there. Because if it reverses, fine, you're wrong, right? But if it bounces off the pivots like it typically does, then your upside is a lot higher. It's just a bigger range. Um, so just yeah, something to look at. Dijon said the breakout would probably be the best for me with my work schedule. I'll probably join him on that. Yeah, if you want to just take the breakout on open, just one trade per day. The thing with the breakout is that if you do take it, you do have to like understand the risk involved with it. It's better to take it once per day because you're either going to have a win or a loss. If you have two wins, then you're profitable for the week. Um, one thing that Masij mentioned last week or this week was if you put yourself in that position where you're taking one trade per day, if you have two wins for the week, just cut it out, even if you have a loss, because you're going to end up in profit regardless. It makes it almost virtually impossible to ever have a red week unless you run into like a bunch of slippage or some sort of issue where you pull out of the trade early or anything like that. If you have two trades for the week, just cut it out. And then if you do that consistently week over week over week, then you should be able to, yield a profit because the profits are just going to add up over the week or over the month. That's kind of what I'm doing too here. That's why I'm taking one trade per day if it does come up. I'm hoping today we're going to get a trade. I think we will, but again, I'm not like 100% sure. It just kind of depends on like the direction. Lethargic is asking, hey, are you still allowing people to join the live trading? Um, it depends. I mean, yeah, it's like I'm still trading here live on the YouTube. It's obviously I give my disclosures and whatnot, but yeah, if you're talking about like the Cody Kai trade side of things, the Kai trade side of things are technically closed to the public. But if you would like to join the live sessions, you can still join them, of course. Like this live stream right now is live trading. I'm not sure if you're referring to the Discord or if you're referring to the Zoom or if you're referring to the YouTube. The YouTube is still here. It's not really technically open to the public. It's meant for previous clients or people who signed up prior. But yeah, if you want access to the Discord or the Zoom, and if you were in the group prior, just send me a message on Discord. If you want more information, you can go down to the info below, and that'll point you in the right direction. So guys, looking over here at 646, I'll just copy this. I'm not going to share the list of trades right now. So this is a 646 entry. It's against momentum. It has a 5.98% max equity drawdown, weighted average of 52.28 for overall. Overall, probability is 50%. Buys are at 54. Sells are at 44. Profit factor is 2.0275. This is a no entry. Reason for being no entry is because it's against momentum for a buy, and we already have a buy momentum right there. So no entry, and I will be documenting this as we go. All right, let me scroll down a little bit or scroll up actually. Let me see if I missed anything. But yeah, back to what I was saying with Steven. Steven does want to he's going to join the hedge fund eventually. He just doesn't have the funds to start. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to take the break. He's trying to be consistent for once here and save up enough to join the hedge fund long term. Because his it's just the trade psychology. I think that's a problem with most people when they trade. It's the trade psychology to be able to execute every single day with some discretion, of course, but not too much. So let me scroll down a little bit, make sure I'm not missing anything here. Asus is question, Sean. So you don't wait for confirmation signal, just taking it after retracement? Yes, that is correct. So you just would trail it basically. I mean, you would just have your order kind of just trailing the pivot too, and then you just wait for it to come and fill your order. So it's pretty much market flow V2. That's literally what it is. It's market flow V2 with a bigger target size. And it's like it's only on that first push. That's why like it's supposed to be meant to be like a once a day type entry. The market flow V2, you could take multiple entries, or you could take, there's a lot of entries that come up per day, but the for that specific one, it's just different criteria. Slightly different criteria, bigger target, bigger stop loss, but a once a day type day trade. Talanji said that 717 is stressing me out. Very unlikely all four hit, right? So there's going to be a couple that that are opposite. So yeah, like you said, the 717, I think that's the one that would throw me off the most because I mean, obviously it's for a sell. Everything else is for a buy, but that 717 is for a sell, right? So I would for the most part, market is bullish right now, right? So I think I would probably go for the buy. The problem is once we hit 7 o'clock, this is where the volatility starts to die down, right? So we get the initial push right here, volatility starts to die down. And this is where it might throw us off because it might retrace back to open. Or what might happen here is price might just go sideways for the rest of the day. Or price could go sideways and then pull back a little bit and then push right back up, right? So yeah, it's tricky. I don't like when they overlap like that, where they start to fade each other, especially back to back. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens as we get closer to it. Oh, cool. Okay, so Masish said he can do active candles. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So like Masish said he can it's a workaround using the 1 second time frame as an input. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was thinking that too. Like because technically you just have to go in the lower time frames. But yeah, you just have to overlap the time frames. Like entry would happen on 1 minute, but then the criteria is taken on the one no, on the 1 second. Entry's taken on the 1 second, but the criteria is taken on the 1 minute. See, the problem with that, Message, is that you can only pull so much data on the 1 second. So I don't know how we would be able to do it. But I mean, if you can find it, that'd be amazing. Yeah, if you'd be able to do it. Because I think it's limited, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I think for the backtest scripts, it's not limited, but on the chart, it's limited. Because I've tried to do that before because I was trying to figure out a 10-second strategy. But I couldn't go far enough to actually backtest it. Yeah, Paul said market is chopping right now. Yeah, Masih said I have to tell you guys about it though. You cannot use it on props or funded. This will only work on PAs. It's too risky. Yeah, I agree. Solange said I prefer the MPS where the confirmation candle is higher, higher, lower, low. Yeah. So with the MPS V2, there's like a couple different confluences that you guys can use. Like for example here, like price pushes up, it retraces. Um, See how this is a higher high right here? Like you typically would want the lower low to be below it so that you can continue the move up. I mean, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. I'm just responding to like what Talanji does. It's a concept that I've mentioned in the past, but not So basically with these strategies, guys, you want to have as little requirements as possible, right? Because you don't want to overfit the strategy. I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of traders and a lot of strategies is that there's too much criteria. That's why for me, when I take the algo entries, there's only one criteria, which is momentum, right? Because you start to add too much criteria and then like it just makes it virtually impossible to find any like entries. The problem is that like we try to add so many criterias that because we want to avoid losses as much as possible, right? But in a lot of instances, adding too much criteria is going to be more, it's going to do more harm than good. So, oh, lethargic. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're on the Discord, lethargic, you can just go over here. If you want access to the Zooms, just go over here to, it says start here in premium access, and you have links to it right here. So, this is for the Zoom and this is for the strategies. So, yeah, I just wasn't sure if you were part of the group already or if you were like brand new. Because it's not supposed to be open to brand new people, but if you're already part of the Discord or if you already are familiar with me prior, you can still sign up for the Discord. It's or you can sign up for the Zooms. The Zooms are not delayed, so yeah, if you want to follow the trades as we take them, it's going to be a lot better because you have them real time. But yeah, Lethargic, if you want access to it, I mean, feel free. If you're already in the group prior. Cam said 3 minute MPSV2 just hit for 40.20. Nice. Okay. So we talked about this yesterday, guys, for the MPSV2. The 3 minute is actually really good. So we have the statistics over here. Where's the MPSV2? Yeah, so this is a 3 minute MPSV2. It has a 50% probability, which is it's pretty good. It's amazing, right? So we had a buy signal here. Price continued up, closed right there, and this was an MPSV2 for a buy. So full TP right there if anybody ended up taking that or catching that. All right, we have some flickering momentum over here. The momentum's been coming up at 55, 52, 51, 45. So for a while now, it's been giving a flickering momentum. Hasn't came up yet. I'll show you guys something that I was looking at to confirm continuation. So like what I would like to see here actually is I'd like to see a sell signal close. And then once it closes, I would like to see a flickering momentum back up higher. That's another way to confirm, or not really confirm, but to follow along with um price, continuing to the upside. Nice. Yeah. Cam said it hit TP and then it reversed. Yeah, we've been in a choppy market lately, past couple of days. Lethargic, if you still want to sign up for it, I mean, you have access to the Discord, so you still have access to the link there. So if you want to, I mean, you're still welcome to go to premium access over here and click that to sign up for the Discord. What I'm saying is that if you're trying to go through the website, you can't sign up on here, right? There's no sign up buttons. There's only buttons to contact administration. So you can contact us, but if you're on the Discord already, then you're fine. You can just click on the button there. It'll still work. It's just people who go to the website can't access it. Let's see. Yeah, so Miss Siege said yes. Paul, thanks for reminding me. I'm giving Sean the chop bot today or tomorrow, and we'll release it to you guys Friday or Saturday. So be ready to start using it on Monday. Yeah, you guys just have to be very careful with it. So once I have access to it, I think I'm gonna have a couple. So I'll create, well, not create. I'll host a live session, like a mentoring session type style session, where I'll explain a couple of these tools. A lot asked me about this yesterday, so I'll be going on. I'll give you guys a time and a date. I just have to kind of work it around my schedule because my schedule is really tight right now. Um, but I'll set up basically a mentoring session where I'll explain how to use Miss Siege's backtest tool here for the MPS V2. Same with with the breakout V3, and then I'll also explain probably the chop bot when I have access to it. I think it's just easier for me to explain because I'm just like it's easier for me to explain it versus a Masij because I have I know the strategy inside and out for the most part. It's just understanding how to use his tool in general is it might be a little complicated for some people. It shouldn't be, but for some people it's just they just want a clear explanation of like how certain things work and how the strategy works and different confluences and discretionary things to use. So I'll be doing that. If not this week, it's probably not going to be this week. It'll probably be next week. I'll have to like set a specific day where I just don't have any distractions and I don't have anything else to do. So I can just sit with you guys for an hour, 2 hours and just knock it all out. So yeah, probably sometime next week. I'll give you guys the date and the time. Uh, It'll be recorded, so if you guys can't attend it, it's fine. You guys can rewatch it in the future. Anyways, guys, we have 7 o'clock coming up right now. I don't think there's any entries coming up yet. We had another target, or not a target. We had another listed entry at 648 or another buy, but it's a no entry because we have a buy signal here already running. This was a 658 entry. I think this here didn't play out. It's not a target entry, but it's a listed entry. This thing came straight down, so obviously it's be a loss. The next one's going to be at 659 right here. This is going to be a no entry. I'm updating the spreadsheet as we go, guys. So there's no entries for like the next 14 minutes or so. So we're gonna be chilling out for a bit. If you guys have any questions, want me to cover anything, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna start looking at the 40/20 entries as well. There's not very many here, but I'll look at them to see if we have anything which has came up yet. Let's see. Wes is asking, hey Sean, I was looking into the MPS V2. Can you remind me, does the entry candle need to close above the signal exclusively of any wicks or just the body? It's just the body, Wes. So for the MPS V2 over here, you just need it to close above the body right here. So like basically above the signal, right? Because the signal closed right here. So you just need it to close above that specific the body, not the wick. I know sometimes you'll have like a huge wick, right? Like let me see if there's an example over here. I don't really see any examples here, but yes, there's going to be candles sometimes where the wick is just like very, very big. But usually the momentum signals, they don't have a big wick because the momentum has to be strong enough to close. But yes, it's going to be based on the body, not the wick. Most of the times you're not going to run into that issue. Like I'm just looking at every momentum signal here to see if there's any actual momentum signal with the wick, but they rarely happen. I mean, they do happen, obviously, right? But for the most part, I don't see any big like obviously like a wick like this, right? But you're not going to see that for any of the momentum signals here. All right, if I ever run into it, I'll show you guys, but again, probably not going to be the case. All right, we've got some flickering momentums coming up right here. You know what, actually, I don't think there would be an entry here at 658. Let me just take a look real quick because I think there was flickering momentum. So the entry is at 659. No, actually, I think, or no, 658. Okay, there was flickering momentum right here at 656, which is 2 minutes before the 658 entry. So this is actually going to be a no entry. This is why I like having the alerts on because the alerts tell you it saves you from getting caught in bad trades, of course. I think the flickering momentum is the that was the missing piece that we really needed for a while. Now that I've turned on the alerts, we know exactly the time of the flickering momentum. So there's going to be a lot of no entries in a sense because the flickering momentum will prevent you from getting into chopped markets, right? So see how price here pushed up pretty nice at 630? Um, I think it's capped. So I think it's capped here. You can't see all of them, but I was going to show you guys here. Like basically the momentum signal started coming up around 642, if I'm seeing this correctly. So see where 642 happened right here? This is where market started to chop up a lot, right? So using the alerts here or just looking at the flickering momentum, this will indicate, if you start to see a lot of flickering momentum at a certain area, this is to show you that market is chopping up. So for example, over here, see we've been having flickering momentum at 7:02, 7:01, 7 o'clock. Basically, this is showing that we're going into some chop. I think this is going to be helpful with the chop bot, Message. If you start to see flickering momentum like that, it'll help identify, okay, this is a choppy area before it actually starts to chop, right? Because right now it's showing that there's a lot of inconsistency with like direction of price, and we're getting flickering momentum just kind of overlapping over each other. And this probably would be a good time to, run the chop bot in a sense. I think for the chop bot, it's probably going to be, there's this term that I always come across when I'm doing research where there's like time buckets, right? And I think the time buckets for the chop bot are going to be like 10-minute intervals. So like for example over here between like 6:30 and 6:40, that's like the time to run the chop, right? Or 6:40 up until 6:50. See how it starts to move directional? That's what I'm saying, like the time bucket right here at like 6:30 or 6:31 to 6:40, like run the chop bot, make your money, pull out of it, wait for another chop to happen. So right here again, you skip basically 6:40 to 6:50, and then at 6:50 right here, you're like, okay, there's another bucket of chop here. So like run the chop off for 10 minutes, make some quick profit, be done with it, and then wait for it to push up again, and then find another bucket of chop. Uh, I have so much knowledge and I have so much experience with this stuff that like a lot of things that I see, it's hard for me to explain because I just see it. Like I know where the time buckets are. I know where the price is starting to flip the other way. Like for example, right here, right? We don't have any flickering momentum for a while, right? The last flickering momentum happened at 7:02. So at this point, obviously, price is not choppy anymore. It's pushing up. You can see over here, 7:02, price is starting to break out of this chop and it's starting to move directional. Um, okay, so with that being the case right there, let's see. Solange said, sorry, where the candle closes higher, haven't touched the MPS this year, sticking to the algo edge. Yeah, no, I agree. All right, we have the entries coming up in a little bit, guys, in about 5 minutes or so. Daniel said, I was looking at the candle massive entry right before sessions. Yeah, I agree. 7:02. Yeah, Sam, my bad. I just saw your message right now. Did you get into that position? So there was a 40/20, that unicorn entry I've been telling you guys about. It came up over here at 7:02. Yeah, it went straight up to target with no drawdown. If anybody caught that right there. The 7:02 entry, I mean the criteria is massive with this one. I didn't do the delta on this one because I mean it's just kind of unnecessary. So this is the 7:02 entry right here. It was with momentum, had a 3% max equity drawdown, weighted average of 81%, 75% overall, 88% for buys, 63% for sells, and a 5.6 profit factor. That's huge. That means for every loss, there's 5 wins, and for a buy position. So if you guys caught that trade right there, nice. Um, yeah, if you guys ended up cashing that. All right, so I have my entry coming up here in a bit, guys. I'm gonna keep following the flickering momentum, make sure we don't have anything here kind of pushing the other way. The problem is that we're having, price starting to push right now, and it doesn't push forever, right? So this could start to slow down over the next couple minutes. Masij is asking, Sean, I'm really writing out all the strategy scripts. I have 14 out of 28 done. They will all have similar settings, so one tutorial should apply to all of them. Could you wait until next Thursday to Friday for the explanation? Yes, that's perfectly fine. So Masih here is basically quantifying all of the strategies. Once he's done with it, I'll have my mentoring session to cover how everything works. There's kind of no point in me explaining it right now because if they're different, then or if there's different settings, it's just going to confuse you even more once the update comes out. So yeah, I'm not going to explain the tools. The tools shouldn't be that difficult to use though. So if you can figure, I mean, um, it's depends on the person, right? Some people are just will just won't get it, but some people, if you just kind of play around with the settings, you'll figure out how it works. Um, but yes, I don't want to confuse you guys, so there's no point in me explaining it right now. I'll just wait until the final update has been completed by Masish. But yeah, thanks Masish for doing that. Oh yeah, so iPhone, I was looking at the data, because I know you mentioned about the pre-market trades. We actually didn't take very many pre-market trades. So if you look at the algo, I actually stopped identifying it. I was trying to see like which pre-market trades we were taking, but yeah, so basically right here, this is where we started taking the algo trades, right? At on October 9th. We were taking the pre-market trades on the 9th. So this is one day. And then the following day on the 10th, we took it, and I'll just show you because we stopped taking it like after 1 week. So there aren't actually very many pre-market trades that you're referring to. Um, See, like right here on the 13th, I stopped taking trades before 6. So we actually stopped taking pre-market trades around this period. There's only like 2 weeks where pre-market trades were being taken. Um, yeah, because if you look at my times over here, see where it starts? It starts at 6:35, so this is after market open. So we didn't really have very many pre-market trades. I was trying to run the algo extension, but I had issues, so I couldn't run them up myself. But I just wanted to show you guys that there weren't really very many pre-market trades to even take into consideration here. We only took pre-market trades for maybe 3 or 4 days. And then other than that, everything else started after. Yeah, the last day was on the 13th. So basically 9, 10, or no, there's no. Let's see, there's like, okay, so on the 9th, we took pre-market trades. Um, the 10th, 11th. Yeah, there was only like basically 3 days where we took pre-market trades. Everything else happened after. So starting on the 13th, we stopped taking pre-market trades. There was like maybe one trade that was listed here at 6 o'clock, but we didn't take it because it was against. And then everything else after that was just we didn't take any more pre-market trades after that. So just wanted to let you guys know that there's not really too many here. So I don't think many trades from October even happened pre-market. There was maybe like there's only 3 days where we actually looked at pre-market. And out of those days, I think we only took pre-market trades like maybe once or twice. So just um just letting you guys know. All right. So other than that, let's see what we got here. So we're starting to get some flickering momentum here. This isn't good. Right? We don't want flickering momentum right now. We just gotta flip. Okay, so we got some flickering momentum right here. So the 715 entry is actually not going to be an entry for us. I don't even know if we'll get the 716 entry either. If anything, we might have to wait until the 718. But even if that's the case, if we keep getting this flickering momentum right here, we just might have no entry for the day because this is indicating that the momentum isn't really holding in one direction and it's starting to really chop up at this point, right? This is exactly what I was just talking to you guys about earlier. Um, it's frustrating, honestly. It's really frustrating because I really wanted to get in somewhere around this area when we had some directional move, but we're starting to get opposite move here, right? So for 714, this is going to be no entry. For 715, this is already going to be a flickering momentum, no entry. Same with 716. Man, I was just talking to Sam about this yesterday at the gym. I was like, bro, we need to take a trade. I haven't taken a trade this whole year because, well, it's a good thing. So a lot of trades that we could have taken here, they would have lost, right? But because we've been following this flickering momentum, this is preventing us from getting into any positions. Um, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have an entry today. I was really hoping we get one today because also because we have the cluster of entries, right? So we have a nice cluster between 750. Here, I'll just put the entries on here. It doesn't really matter anymore because we're at a point where all of these are no entries to begin with. So the entry is coming up shortly right now. Okay, we're at 715. This entry is coming up right now, but because we had flickering momentum right here, this is why we skipped it, right? Because we can't have a flickering momentum 3 minutes prior to entry. The flickering momentum is indicating that price momentum is dying out, right? Because we already have momentum pushing up here. But if we keep getting sell signals that are pending, it means that the sellers are trying to take control, right? Price has been pushing up for a while. It's overextended. It's time for it to turn around the other way. So yeah, unfortunately, if you guys want to take this trade, feel free to take it at your own risk. I'm going to keep sticking to my game plan here, no flickering momentum trades, because this rule has allowed us to avoid losses pretty much for the past week or two. Um, the setup here is starting to look pretty nice though. So if anything, if we don't get a flickering momentum from now until 718, this entry would still be valid. Everything else is invalidated though. 715, this is the trade that's currently running right now. So this right here is the 715 entry. If we don't get a flickering momentum from now until 718, then the 718 is still an entry that we can possibly take. But you guys see here how the momentum has died out. The problem with this is that you don't want to be holding on to this for too long. Let me show you guys the criteria here. So this entry here is for the 715. This trade's going to run for a while. You can see over here the average hold time for this is 14 minutes for both sells and for buys and for wins and losses. For wins here, it typically lasts about 16 minutes, and for losses, it usually lasts about 13 minutes. So you don't really want to hold this position for more than 14 minutes. If you hold it for more than 14 minutes, then you should probably pull out for partial profit or whatever profit you can grab. So looking at this here now, there's overlapping positions. So there's the 715 position, which is currently running, the 716, which would be running alongside it. The 717, this is going to be a no entry because it's going to be for a sell, of course. And then we have that 718 position. I mean, I'm just looking at how price is moving right here. I don't even think I'd want to get into that 718 position. I think here, let me see how long the 718 position runs for. I could already feel a pending momentum coming up soon. Okay, so this is the 718 position. Again, I'm going to look at the statistics here. The 718 position usually doesn't run for much longer. Well, it's a little bit longer or a little bit less. It's 9 minute average. 11 minutes for buys or for wins, 8 minutes for losses. All right, so there's a 718 entry which is currently setting up right now. Let's see. All right. So this right here. So let's go back to yeah, the flickering momentum has came up, guys, earlier. It's I don't think this is gonna be one that I'm gonna be getting into. The volatility here is a little low. Let's go back to that 702 entry, Sam. There was a flickering momentum. So like you said, flickering momentum right here, right at 7 o'clock. The entry was at 702. We just talked about this. You can't have a flickering momentum 3 minutes before entry. So this over here is, I mean, it's pretty clear, right? It has a time right there, 702. Or the 702 is the entry. The 7 o'clock had the flickering momentum. So there's one at 7 o'clock, there's one at 7:01, and there was one at 7:02. So that would indicate and show that market here was choppy for the most part. But this yeah, this market is like, I thought it was frustrating the past 2 months. I feel like this now is even more frustrating because it's so much lower. So this is the 718 entry. I'm gonna have them run alongside each other. And yeah, guys, the flickering momentum is what's kind of been holding me back from taking the entries. I mean, this has been a criteria for forever now. Um, but we'll follow it and we'll see where it ends up going. This here, the 715, there was a flickering momentum on that one. And then for this one over here at 718, this one technically could have been an entry. But like I said, because of the previous flickering momentum over here, it would have been a close call. The last flickering momentum happened over here at 714. So yeah, it's Laundry said only the people who watch US 30 daily know what's moving weird. Yeah, exactly. Masij said I'm too scared off this weird market. Buyers are winning, but barely. Yeah, Daniel said it might target London low before retracement. I agree. And now looking at this here, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid, right? See how it's now starting to turn around. We have a flickering momentum right there. Makes it tricky. Let's see. Let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, it's Laundry said it might be done. This is overextension. This overextension is overextended. Yeah, that's what I was worried about because it pushed out so far. Let's see. A lot is asking, Sean, are the 2040 algo entries that you posted still in testing? Or are they ready to be taken? I mean, you can take whichever you prefer, but you'd have to choose one or the other a lot. You can't go between 60/30 and 40/20. That's why, like, I have the 40/20 trades listed here, but I'm not taking them, right? Because I can't flip between the two. The risk becomes a lot higher because having a 30-point stop loss versus a 20-point stop loss, it's not going to have consistency. So if you guys take one or the other, you have to stick to one or the other. It's either you're taking 60/30 entries or you're taking the 40/20 entries. The 40/20 entries are going to be a lot. You're going to have a lot more opportunities, but you're also going to have more risk because the stops are so tight, right? This is the main reason why I'm not taking the 40/20 entries. If you look at the ATR, it's 28 points. So with that being the case, if price turns against you, even for a split second, you can easily get stopped out. Like these candles right here are okay because they're small, right? But if you're taking the 40/20 trades, um, like for example over here at 702, this one over here would have worked, but if you got caught in like this big red candle right here, you would have gone stopped out just immediately. It's a 40 point or more than 40 points, a 50-point candle. So you put your, like for example, let's just put a 20-point target here or 20-point stop loss. If 20 points is your stop loss, any pullback, even just a little bit, see all these red candles right here? It pulls back just a little bit, it'll stop you out very quickly. For the 702 over here, this one was actually a pretty, I mean, it didn't pull back at all. It pulled back prior, and then it ended up just going straight up. So no drawdown on that one. Oh, man, such a slow year. I was hoping. I mean, I just got to be patient. It's January 8th, so it's only been how many trading days this year so far? No, it's a different Sam, Rev. It was a flickering Sam. It's right here. It's right in front of your face, bro. It's 7 o'clock right there. The entry was at 7:02. Flickering was at 7 o'clock, right? 7:00:02. So at 7 o'clock and 2 seconds, the flickering momentum was right there. That's why that wasn't one that was taken. Because if you look back at the statistics, so let's take a look at the statistics here. Look, we had a bunch of flickering momentum trades like last, where was it at? See, a lot of these over here would have been avoided. Well, we did avoid them specifically because of the flickering momentum. If you look at the spreadsheet over here, that's why the flickering momentum is important. It's important because if you don't take that into consideration, you're going to get into a choppy, when market's chopping, and you'll either get trapped in the position where it runs for like forever, or you end up getting, where's my date over here? Weird. But yeah, basically the flickering momentum was what got in the way of these trades, especially the 402 one as well. So, I mean, it's all listed here, all the flickering momentums. So these are basically all the ones that came up from today. Samson, yes. I know, but the flickering momentum is documented here. If you turn on your alerts, Sam, you'll know if the flickering momentum comes up, even if you don't see it. Like you probably weren't paying attention for a second, right? Or you're paying attention between 7 o'clock and 7:02. Because obviously if there was no flickering momentum, we wouldn't get an alert here, right? You don't get an alert unless the momentum flickers or if it's come up. So yeah, you didn't see it, but the data here shows that it did come up. So again, right here, here's the the setups that we were looking at earlier. Again, these over here were avoided because of the flickering momentum. Again, see how I got the alert right there, Sam? You might have not seen the momentum come up, but the momentum did come up because the alerts don't come up for no reason. They come up when there's an actual flickering momentum there. So the so see right there, there's a flickering momentum which came up. You don't have it already came up prior. So like right now it's 626 and like or 627. And there we go with that flickering momentum. So this is the main reason why we don't take trades when the flickering momentum comes up because of like see how your trade could be running in profit, but because there's been flickering momentums running for a while, this can easily turn on you. So again, right here, this saved us from taking a loss. Well, actually, it hasn't lost yet, but it's not looking so great right now, right? Price pushed up a little bit, might have looked good for a couple minutes, but if you held on to this long enough, it can start to turn against you. If you want to turn on the alerts, Hadas, go to alerts right here. Go to so for the symbol, you'll choose YM. For condition, you'll choose Kodi Kai momentum. For this, you'll change this to signal fired. If you just want sell signals, they'll alert you for sell signals. For buy signals, it'll alert you for buys. But if you want it both directions, just click signal fired. And then you can do same as chart if you're on the 1 minute, or if you just want to be sure, set it to 1 minute right there. And then put once per bar. So this will give you an alert every time the momentum flickers per bar. Um, that's what you want to have it set to. You don't care about the close, you care about once per bar because you want it to let you know every time the flickering momentum comes up. And then that's how you set it. For expiration over here, you set it to open-ended, and then it'll never stop. It'll just keep giving you alerts. So yeah, if you have that there, it'll show you here, and then you'll have your log of alerts that come up. So again, if you want to go back and just, this is how I know the alerts are helping. Because if you look back at the entries, you can just look at whenever the pending momentum came up, and this is going to show you that this is where market started to chop up, right? So again, looking at this over here from what I talked about earlier, we started getting alerts around 7:12, right? Or we'll go earlier. Let's go from like 6:55 or whatever. If you see clusters of momentum right there, okay, so here it goes. This helped us prevent a loss, right? Because of the flickering momentum. So if you want to use the flickering momentum, guys, feel free. I found the flickering momentum to avoid us from getting into losses. But if you want to take trades without the flickering momentum, then so be it. You guys can take those trades. The We didn't use flickering momentum in the past, right? All throughout October, we didn't use flickering momentum. Basically, all throughout October, November, and then most of December, we didn't use flickering momentum. Um, and the reason why it came up, or why I thought of it, was because we kept losing trades, right? When I was looking at the trades that we lost, I'm like, okay, how could I have avoided this trade where I lost? And I noticed that, okay, this is where the flickering momentum came up, indicating that momentum was shifting to the downside, right? So because we use flickering momentum over here, we avoided two back-to-back losses right there, right? I'd rather avoid two back-to-back losses than having one lucky win, right? The flickering momentum is relevant. So again, if you guys want to ignore the flickering momentum, feel free. Do whatever you guys feel comfortable with. But I just avoided two losses right here. So that I'm going to take that as a win because it prevented me from getting into these positions here where we end up in chop, right? Because price just ends up chopping up like this. So if you guys are worried about getting into a choppy market or a market where like price is not really going consistently in your direction, then you would look at the alert, or not the alert, you'd look at the flickering momentum, you'd identify, okay, if it's flickering for like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, then I probably shouldn't take the trade there because at that point it's ready for reversal. So again, here's another example, or here's another way of using it. See how price is now coming back down below? If you start to see flickering momentum come up again in the other direction for a buy, that can give you a hint to, okay, it's time to buy a position here or time to get in for a buy, right? Because if you have that there, that's going to indicate that, okay, price is retracing back, the retracement's done, and now it's going to swing back to the upside. So yeah, once you guys grasp that concept, like that's why for me, I was like, we were getting a ton of flickering momentums around this cluster of trades that we had for today. And it pretty much invalidated all three right here. And when we got to 718, I was like, okay, we've been having flickering momentum for like how long now? At this point, I'm not even going to take this last one because I already know price is going to turn around, right? We already knew price was going to reverse here starting at 713 because this is where the first flickering momentum came up, right? It started coming up right here, came up at 714. So I already knew at this point the reversal was going to happen. Where is it at? 712. Okay, so right here we started getting flickering momentum at 712, and look what happened. Price was still pushing up a little bit, but the buyer started to lose control and price eventually reversed. So we were able to identify that price was likely to reverse over here about 10 minutes earlier because that's where the flickering momentum started coming up. 712, 713, 714, right? At this point, we're like, okay, the sellers are trying to get back in control. So at this point, we should probably be careful with taking buys here. And that's why I didn't take the buy here. And I'm glad I didn't because I would have lost the trade. The same concept works here, right? If we start to get flickering momentum the other way, we haven't had any flickering momentum. Oh, there we go. There goes that flickering momentum right there at 733. Look at the alert, right? At this point, if you start to get flickering momentum here, and let me just put the line over here. So we have one flickering momentum here. If we get like maybe a couple here, like at 733, 734, 735, at that point, it's like, okay, the buyers are starting to come back in control. So at this point might be a good time to maybe get into our buy, right? If you're looking to apply some sort of buy entry here to get back into the market. So, all right, let me scroll up real quick. Nice, Daniel. You guys get a lot of snow out there, huh? Yeah, Daniel said snow day, time for coffee. Have a good day, guys. All right, Daniel, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, a ton of snow for you guys out there today. I don't know how you guys do it. I can't deal with the cold weather like that. All right, so we have price flipping back up right here. I've already pretty much marked up majority of the trades here for 6:30. It's just a bunch of no entries for today again. Um, I mean, I wish there was entries, but there just weren't, of course. We're in a choppy market, so this is how it is and how it's been. Until the algo starts giving us entries that are a little earlier, it's going to be hard to get into entries here because all of our entries, and you guys can see the list right here, the entries happen after 7. We have a couple here which happened prior, but most of them happen here at 7, and this is when the volatility starts to die down. So, or the reversals tends to happen because we had the bullish push right here, then it flattened out, and that's where we're at. 7:30 over here. It's for a buy. Did you get into that position, Talanji? Okay, nice. Yeah. So Talanji was talking about how he was going to get into the 7:30 position here against momentum. This has an 8% max equity drawdown, weighted average of 70% profitability overall, 55% overall just in general, 85 for buys, 38% for sells. Profit factor is 2.157. So right here, this was an entry that Talanji got into. It was at 7:30, and it ended up hitting full TP right there. There's only one trade that came up today, which was this one. Let me show you guys a spreadsheet. So I've updated the spreadsheet over here. There's only one entry. Nothing else came up. Everything was no entry. So if you guys look over here at the basically all the statistics for this year so far, there's been, let's see, there's been 5 trading days for this year so far, last Friday up until today. There's been a lot of no entries. There's been a couple wins and stuff here and there, but for the most part, a bunch of no entries. This indicates that we're in a choppy market right now, right? Because if there's no entries, I mean, if there's wins and there's losses, then price is moving in a certain way. But for the most part, there's just a lot of no entries here for the entire day. I'm gonna update this here. I mean, it's been a slow start of the year for the most part, which is normal, and this is expected. But yeah, it is frustrating because I want to get into something here. Yeah, those flickering momentums help avoid basically here, let's see. Yeah, so I'm looking at the flickering moment. Basically, the flickering momentum helped us avoid four back-to-back losses here, or 3 back-to-back losses. Because if you were to ignore the flickering momentum and you would have just taken the trades, so 716 over here, or 715 is the first one, right? I'll just show you guys the losses that would have been piled up here. That would have been a loss because the obviously price pushed up, the volume died down, it turned away the other direction. And then the 716 would have lost too. I mean, these overlap, so you wouldn't take both trades, but that one also would have lost. There was no entry for 717 because it was for a sell. And then 718 over here. It's for another loss, right? So again, this shows you the importance of understanding the flickering momentum because the flickering momentum prevented us from taking all of these losses right here. For us, there's just no entries. But if you would have taken these here and you would have just ignored the flickering momentum because they were buys, they did line up for buys, you would have had 3 back-to-back losses right here. So again, there's a reason why we look at the flickering momentum, guys. It's not a requirement it's not just a random requirement. It's preventing you from taking losses because if you would have taken 3 losses there, that's a negative 3R. In order for you to come back into profit, you're going to have 2 wins, right? And the wins are hard to come by right now because there's just no entries. If we had an entry every single day or a couple entries every single day, it's a different story, right? Because you could make back that loss very quickly. But because we're not having entries here, it's it's becoming virtually impossible, honestly, to really recoup. The other thing that I can tell you is if you use the 40/20, you're going to have a lot more entries. And this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to document the 40/20 entries. And let's just kind of see where it's at today so far. Right, so let's go back over here. There was a with momentum at 637 right here. And I'm gonna document to show you guys like more trades is not better, right? More trades is not going to be better here. So this right here is going to be a loss for the first one. 44 is for a buy as well. See how tight the stop loss is? You get stopped out before it pushes into profit. That's why I don't use the 40/20 right now. The volatility is just too high. 7 o'clock was another entry. See this again, another loss. You guys will see the 40/20s are not good. Yeah, there's a lot of entries here, but they're not going to be great because the volatility is too high. If your stop loss is too tight, 20 points, it's really easy to get stopped out of these positions. Obviously, I would like this to be profitable, but I'm going to go over all the trades here, and it's gonna be tricky to really turn a profit on these. Like you'd have to take every single trade, and there's too many trades here. And I'll show you this in comparison to the entire week because today might be really good, but if you guys look at the other day from this week, there was actually a lot of bad entries. 715. So there were some pretty good entries for today. If you look at the list, I'm going to update the spreadsheet and you guys can take a look in a few, but I'm going to show you guys the totals in a second. It's just if you guys take these 40/20s, you have to be very selective about which one you decide to take. So 721. Okay, 722. I mean, these overlap, so you're probably not going to take all of these trades, of course. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that in a few. Yeah, because there's a lot of overlapping trades here, and they all lose because obviously the first one wasn't a good one. Actually, this is no entry. 718. So 26. All right, so I've updated it over here to show you guys. Yeah, today wouldn't, I mean, unless no, it still wouldn't be a good day. Or actually, today was okay. So let me show you guys a spreadsheet here. I just updated it. So for the 60/30, there was no entries for today at all. There's zero. Now looking over here at 40/20, it's a 2R for the day. So here are all the 40/20 entries. Um, and these would be the target entries over here. Yeah. So if you took the target entries, you'd be at a 1R for the day. The 702.1, there's no entry for 720, the 721 loss, and we're still waiting for the 746 entry. So looking at the data over here, you guys can see more entries doesn't necessarily mean better, right? I know some of you guys want to just take the 40/20s because there's more entries there. But yeah, I mean, looking at the statistics for this week, if you took the trades here for 40/20, you'd be at a negative for this week, right? You'd be at a negative because there was two back-to-back losses here. I mean, it just kind of depends on what you were doing, right? If you're trying to take certain entries here, so here, actually, for the target entries over here, we would I mean, I'd have to do uh a different spreadsheet because we're technically taking one per day. So if you were to just take one per day, you'd technically be in profit because you'd have a win today, you'd have a loss yesterday, and you have a loss, or you'd be at break even actually. Because you'd have a loss on Tuesday, loss on Wednesday, a win on Thursday. If you have a win tomorrow, you'd be in profit, but you'd be at break even so far for this week. Looking at every trade that was listed, there was a negative 5R on Tuesday, negative 2R yesterday, and then today's a positive 2R. Just depending on how the next entry comes up, there may be an entry coming up over here at 746. There is a flickering momentum there though, so it's indicating that price may shift the other way. But if you guys wanted to avoid that and just ignore the flickering momentum, actually there'd be no entry there. It's for a sell. So the statistics for this for today are all they're all dialed in, guys. So again, like I mentioned, you can make a choice between 630 or 40/20. You're not going to have a big difference because if you took the trades for 40/20, you'd be at break even, right? Yeah, you'd have one win for today, but you'd have a loss on Wednesday and a loss on Tuesday, so you'd still be at break even. So, for example, here, if you took three trades for this week, you'd be at break even, but you still have to cover commissions and fees, so you still be at a negative. Versus if you did 60/30, which is what I'm doing, I just have no entries for the day. So I have no commissions, no fees, plus I have no trades. So if I had to have a choice between do I want four trades and have to pay commissions and fees versus no trades at all, no commissions and fees, I would take the no commissions and fees. But all right, yeah, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. But there is nothing here. Yeah, there's nothing here so far. We just gotta weather the storm, guys. I mean, I keep saying that because that's really the key here, right? This is kind of like it's kind of like the devil on your shoulder, right? It's tapping you like, hey, take this trade, or enter this position, and it tempts you to take the position. But I'm sticking to the game plan, so I can't take anything here because there are just no entries. The flickering momentum comes up. Like at this point in time, some entries look good because you just want to take something, right? I'm in the same boat, guys. Trust me. I'm trying really hard to sit on my hands and not take a trade here. That doesn't meet the trading plan. Um, I'm not used to not taking trades for this long, right? I haven't taken a trade in like weeks, guys. If you guys have been trading with me for a while, I actually haven't taken trades in a long time. I haven't taken a trade this week. I didn't take any trades last week. It was New Year's. Um, yeah, the last day I took a trade was maybe like a week or 2 weeks ago because I haven't taken anything so far. Like, I mean, it's just been, yeah, just a bunch of no entries here. The last trade was on December 24th. I didn't trade on December 26th, and it was a flickering momentum. So the last trade I took was a win. It was a win on the 24th. That's about it. Other than that, there's just nothing else here. So I'm looking at the calendar right now, 24th. How many days has it been since I've taken a trade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 days, almost 2 weeks. But The good thing is that I haven't taken any loss, so that's the good part. Good part is no loss, but the bad part is I haven't taken a trade in like 12 days. It's a long time. Yeah, Masij to the gameplay is working exactly as we want. No entries around break even. Then we have a giant win streak. This is what we expected. It's right there in the data. As long as we don't go into drawdown, it's working as we want. Yeah, 100% Masij. That's the whole point of this, right? Like, so let's go over here to my so these are the stats from last year, right? And this is exactly what Missy is talking about, right? Like in October, we had an amazing month, right? I made almost $500,000 in 1 month in October, but then we've had very slow periods between November and December. That's just how, the market works in general. We want that. We want to be in a position where we're not having a lot of losses, because if you have a lot of losses, you're going to eat into some drawdown. So for me, I'm just being very cautious and just not even being cautious. I'm just following my strategy, right? I'm following my strategy, no flickering momentums, just following the algo entries. Because eventually, if you look at the statistics, and I'll just show you guys let me show you guys the long-term equity chart here. So if you guys look at the long-term equity chart right here, look, let's use 702 as the if you guys want to take the 702, I'm not trying to tell you guys not to take it, but I'm going to show you guys the equity chart here. There's going to be periods where it works really well and periods where it doesn't. So I'm going to show you guys the equity chart here. So right now it's like very good, right? It's been very good since October 29th. So if you guys want to take the 702 entry, I mean, just take the trade, right? You don't have to listen to my analysis or what I'm looking for. If you feel really confident, which I do think it's very confident to take the trade, it's just there's going to be periods where it's not going to be very consistent. So let me go over here real quick and I'll show you. Let's do a year's data, because there's going to be point in times where the market's just kind of flat, either flat and yeah. See, like if you look at the equity chart here, now like obviously this is a time where you want to not take the trade, right? From August 25 up until September until October. So basically from August, late August until October, losing streak. It's great right now, but again, you have to understand that there's going to be periods where it's going to be flat. Like for example, right here, where it's just break even. Or not break even, but yeah, basically break even between November 10 or November 7 and December 8. Basically, the 702 entry that you guys are liking so much right now, it was really good between or like since December 8 till now. But you guys can see those types of win streaks, they don't last forever. So as soon as you start taking the trade, it could easily come back down. So that's why you have to like, if you understand the data and you understand how it moves here, there's going to be periods where it's slow, and these are times where you should just avoid the trade. And there's going to be periods where time is where it's fast, and this is where you want to take advantage of it, right? Right now, probably it's fast, but the thing is, it's like holding a carrot in front of you, right? Like if you're a rabbit, if you're gonna chase these equity curves, the market's gonna humble you very quickly. You're gonna start taking losses, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I should have never taken those 702 entries, um, or I should have listened to the flickering momentum because that would have saved me from taking losses here." So, yeah, this is the data for 365 days. That covers 258 trades. And this is true to all strategies, right? Not just the algo, not just to the 702 entry, but just in general. That's why we're always rotating times. If you guys look at my spreadsheet, um, this is going to help us long term, right? Because if we see times where the entries come up very often, so say for example, we have this over here, and this shows us that we have target entries at like 7:15, and say this comes up almost every month, right? Every month we have good entry at 7:15, 7:16, etc. This is where the data starts to build again in the future, because we're going to use this to identify, okay, if this trade keeps coming up very consistently moving forward, then in the future, maybe if the 7:16 comes up in like say February or March, we'll feel a lot more comfortable to take this position because we know that it comes up often. So it's going to be a work in progress, of course. There's always going to be ways to improve. There's going to be ways to find edge. There's going to be ways to avoid losses. And it's just going to take some time. But anyways, like looking at this here, this is the 702 entry. Um, you can see it goes through some heavy drawdown periods, but then it also comes back up. So long term, it's still profitable, but it's not. You have to find the times and the days when to actually use it, not every single day. But anyways, let's check. Sam over here mentioned, Sean, can we see 702 with 2020? Okay, yeah. Let's do 90 days. And then let's do so this is the 90-day period, 63 trade samples. It's 61% profitability. So this shows that over the previous 90 days or 63 trading days, this has been very profitable. Now let's take a look at the 2020, which Sam was requesting. Let's update the report.
Connection lock.
Yeah, so it goes up even higher. I mean, it's not very high. The profit factor is like it's pretty decent, but it's not that great. I think for this, for any strategy in general, the ones and twos are typically going to yield a higher profit. So this right here has almost 70% profitability, which is great. However, the profit factor is at 2.257. So let's go back to the, let me see how they vary. Yeah, the profit factor is better for a one to two using, because the profit factor goes up to 2.7 and the win rate is still pretty high. So yeah, the 2020 is good. It's good, Sam. But you'd be better off doing the one to two 40/20 because you're gonna make more profit long term. But they're pretty much balanced for the most part. Yeah, Michael said my eagerness to pass an eval encouraged some trades. I wish I could get back. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%, Michael. I know it's hard for certain people who are trying to pass evals. It's going to be really hard for you guys to pass evals with just the algo trades. The algo is meant for the hedge fund, guys. So this is another thing that you guys have to understand. I created this algo for consistency for long term. My goal as a hedge fund manager is to protect capital and grow wealth, right? So I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people are it's kind of going over your head in a sense that I'm being careful because I'm managing real money. I'm not trading fake money, right? I'm not on a prop firm like Apex and I'm trading like money where it doesn't matter if you lose it, right? If you lose money with Apex or any prop firm, Top Step, whatever it may be, you guys don't have to worry about the the consequences, right? Because you just buy another account. It's like whatever, you blew account, blew 2,000 here, blew 2,000 there. If you think about how many accounts you've blown with Apex or any of these other companies, think about how much money you lost, right? If that was your actual money, you would have lost a lot of real money. I'm trading real money, so it's different. That's why the algo here is important for me because I'm looking for quality over quantity, right? I'm not trying to pass an eval. That's the downside with trading with prop firms is that they pressure you to make a lot of money all the time. But the realistic side of trading is that that's not going to be the case, right? There's people who make money trading with prop firms, and yeah, they'll make money like for 1 month, and then they blow the account the next month. I can't do that with a hedge fund. For me, I'm trading real money. So if I lose $100,000, that's 100,000 of real money. That's not a prop. It's not prop firm money. That's why for me, it's better for me to take less trades, but look for higher quality entries. But yes, it's going to be hard for you guys to pass evals if you're only trading the algo, right? That's why I'm saying if you guys want to trade the MPSV2, you're probably going to be better off trading the MPSV2 because this entry actually comes up every day. Like you can do this every single day, guys. Like if you want to take the MPSV2, just take one entry per day. You guys can see the profitability here is pretty high, right? This is on the 3 minute time frame. You're gonna have an entry. There's not gonna be days like for me, for example, I haven't traded for almost 12 days, right? That's because I'm following the algo. If you're following the MPSV2, you're gonna have an entry every single day because there's not gonna be any no entries, right? Every single day there's gonna be an entry. So for example, over here, if you took the MPSV2 for the 3 minute, right here, market opened up at 6:30, price pushed up, retraced, your entry would have happened right there, right? Your entry would have happened right there. So you're going to have an entry every single day. So if you guys are doing evals and you guys need to pass those evals right away, I would say stick to the MPSV2 guys. Go on the 3 minute time frame, apply the MPSV2, take one entry every single day. Like literally every single day, just take one, take the MPSV2. Because if you look over here at the statistics, so let's just do the math real quick, right? Or let's just kind of see where it is, where it's currently sitting right now. If you took the MPSV2 every day this week, so you'd have a win on the 5th, you'd have and let me add, or whatever it may be. So you'd have a win on the 5th, you'd have a loss on the 6th, you have a win on the 7th, and you have a win today. So you have 3 wins, 1 loss. With that being the case right here, you'd be net positive 3 times 2 minus 1. You'd be net positive 5R for this week so far. If you guys are trying to pass an eval, you only need to have X amount of R, right? So let's see if you're doing, let's say if you're on a 50K account, right? 50K account, you're going to do 2,500 max drawdown divided by 4. So you're going to risk 625 per day, right? 625 per day, you'll do 625 divided by 20 because you're doing a 40/20 divided by 5. You're going to use 6 contracts, right? So 6 contracts, 6 times 5 times 40. Every time you take a trade and it wins, you're going to make 1,200. You need 3,000 to win or to pass your eval, right? Divided by 1,200. And you can do all this by math, guys. The math is not that difficult. So in order for you to pass your eval, you only need 2.5 wins on the MPSV2 to pass. So you guys see here how it makes sense. Like if you guys know the equation, you guys can do the math to figure out how long it takes to pass an eval. If you need to pass an eval, stick to the MPSV3 or MPSV2. Do it on the 3-minute time frame and just take these trades here. You know, whether you win, whether you lose, you're going to eventually make profit or enough profit to uh to pass, right? So for example, if you do 6 times 5 times 20, you have 600 risk per day, 2,500 minus or divided by 600. You can have 4 back-to-back losses. So in order for you to blow your account with Apex, you have to have 4 back-to-back losses for you to blow it. You need four back-to-back losses to lose your account. You need 2.5 wins to win. And if you took this trade here, so if you took the MPSV2 every day this week, on Monday you would have won. On Tuesday you would have lost. On yesterday you would have won, and then today you would have won. So you'd be up 3 wins so far. You basically would have passed your eval within this week. So, guys, if you need help with like passing your eval, I mean, you probably shouldn't rely on the algo as much. The algo is going to be something long term, like if you're trading a personal account or if you're already funded. But if you want to pass the eval and get certain amount of profits to get to that point, stick to the MPSV2 because it comes up every single day, right? So, all right, guys, let me see if there's any other questions here. If you guys have any other questions as well, feel free to hop into the chat. Let's see. Sam mentioned over here. Yeah, Sam said good on you, Sean. Tough to sit on hands watching price go up. Bravo. I'm done for the day. Profit on that. Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Sam mentioned I agree. One trade at one time, just increase lot size next time. If lost, learn to accept the loss. Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, exactly. I think the best way of trading, guys, is to just have one trade per day. Because if you can control yourself to take one trade per day and it's a high quality trade, you should be able to, reap the benefits. But again, like, I think the main thing to focus on, I think, yeah, for everybody who's trading on an eval or even if you're just trading a prop firm, if you want to make a certain amount of money, it's probably not going to be through the algo. This algo is meant for the hedge fund. So again, I want to make that clear, guys. This algo is meant for the hedge fund because you're not going to be able to stomach drawdown in a sense. And you're not going to make a lot of profit. This is meant to make you consistent profit long term. So I think moving forward, I mean, this is going to be hard. I probably would need to get a different laptop to trade because now that I'm looking at the MPSV2, I'm like, okay, this should be applied mainly for prop firms. I mean, it could be applied for hedge fund accounts too, but there's just too much risk involved. Like looking over here, let me see if there's any. See, like there's going to be days like this where you have back-to-back losses, right? And I can't have back-to-back losses like this on the hedge fund. It's just not going to make sense. I mean, because it's like those back-to-back losses will really eat into the account, right? There's some days where you have 3 back-to-back losses here. Yeah, there's actually a lot of days here where it has three back-to-back losses. There's win streaks, but then again, you're gonna have days where they're back-to-back losses, and it's gonna really eat into your drawdown. But it looks like okay, so I was gonna say it looks like there's never any more than three back-to-back losses, but there's actually periods here where it does go on a bender, right? A losing streak. October 1st, October 2nd, October 3rd. This is during the government shutdown, so I think the strategy just wasn't working very well during this period. It was like market wasn't trending at all. Nice wins right there. Yeah, there's periods where account can be blown. But again, like I said, I can't blow real money. I gotta be consistent with it. Look, so I think there's one thing that you guys can probably look at to improve your entries for the MPSV2 is to look at or confirm that the pivots are spread out before your entry comes up. Let me look at these losses here. So the sixth, I'm just kind of curious to see how it's moving on the sixth here. This is where a loss happened. Okay, so I'm looking over here. There was a loss here on the sixth, but it looks like it was just because price spiked. So price pushed up, but then it spiked down and it stopped you out before it pushed up in profit. So this was just an unlucky situation. Let me go to the second here. Let's see. The second happened right here. Yeah, I was trying to figure out like if there's a way to skip it. I mean, we don't have the red flags kind of listed on here, like news and stuff like that. So I mean, that could have been another factor. I was trying to see if there was something that we can figure out by looking at the pivots, but I just don't really see it here. A lot of these days, this was during the holidays too, so it just wasn't time to like enter these trades. Like this is New Year's Eve. Yeah, this isn't enough to I'd have to like take a deep dive into it to figure out, okay, what are the times or what are areas to avoid or to skip and stuff like that. But there's always going to be little things here to look at. Like most of the time, it's going to be the time of the trade. So if you look at these losses over here, these happen pretty late in the session, 7:51, 7:33. This is where the volatility dies down. So at that point, it's probably not a good time to take entries anyways. Yeah, like this happened at 8. I don't know why this trade even came up. It happened so long or so late. Basically, if you cut off the 7:30 entries or trades after 7:30, it'll probably save you a lot of losses here. Yeah, because a lot of these trades happen after 7:30 where the volatility is flat. Okay, anyways, let me check the chat real quick. I'll see if there's anything else to cover, guys. It's after 8 o'clock, so I'm pretty much done for the day. Unfortunately, again, we'll look at the list of entries over here. There's just nothing that I've taken. So if you guys have looked over here at the spreadsheet's available to you guys if you guys want to look. Um, but again, if you guys are doing prop firms or anything that you need to make consistent, like not consistent, but like you need to make a lot of profits on a regular basis, then I would say the MPSV2 is going to be your best option. And the reason why I say that is because we have the probabilities here. Obviously, the strategy works well. It works well, but there are going to be drawdown periods that are going to be hard to get across. So let's see, question over here. Let me scroll up real quick. Um, let's see, question from Hadas. Was there any change in the algorithm? Somehow I don't see anything again. I worked earlier. Trying to run the algo now. No data is coming back. Where do you have the issue? Alad Mendes. Let's see. Okay, so if you have a problem with the algo over here, if you go to your settings, make sure these are enabled, right? What you probably have enabled right now is you have size by equity. I think you have size by equity, yeah. So you probably have that enabled right now because it shows nothing on my chart, right? So if you turn that off right there, use fixed contracts, should fix it. Send a screenshot of your settings a lot. I mean that they're or Mendez, yeah, both of you guys. If you guys want to send us a screenshot of your settings, or just send a screenshot of your entire chart like this. Just take a screenshot of your entire chart. I'm pretty sure I can pick out what is there's a setting that's off. That's what's happening. You guys must have checked something or let's see, okay. Hold up. 60/30. Um, let's see. Can you scroll down to your lower settings? See a lots. Oh, okay. I see what you did. So you have it set to 3 minute right here, Adas. Yeah, I figured that was going to be the case. You have it on a different time frame. I don't think there's a 6:29 3 minute candle. The 3 minute candle is at 6:30. So if you change this back to 1 minute on your chart, it would fix it. Yeah, I knew there was an obvious fix there. Yeah, because you guys are on the 3 minute time frame. You guys have to, if you want to do the 3 minute, you have to set it to an actual 3 minute time. So like it'd be like 8:30, and then it should show up on there. Yeah, quick fix. I mean, it's little things like that, right? I knew there was like one because there's nothing that's been changed to the code. The code's been the same. It's just if you change the time frame, that's why the main thing I was looking at, I was gonna look right here on your momentum time frame to see if this was set offset or your actual chart. But yeah, that should fix it. So here, I'll show you an example here. If you want to do the 3 minute time frame, which is perfectly fine, you can do the 3 minute time frame. You just have to change your settings here. So like for example, you have it set to 8:29. I don't think there's an 8:29 candle at 3 minute. Yeah, see it's zero right there. But if you put it to 8:30, I know there's an 8:30 candle there. And there you go, magic, right? The it shows up with data. So all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. If you don't have any questions now, you can always reach me on Discord. So again, guys, I just want to make just clarify the algo here. This is going to give you consistent profitability long term. So if you're trading a personal account or if you're already funded and you just want to have consistent profits, over time, this would be the strategy to use. If you're in an eval phase and you're still trying to pass it, this is going to be hard because there's going to be a lot of periods where there's no entries. So if you guys are in the eval phase or if you guys just want to have more entries, like if the algo is too boring for you, the thing with trading is that you want to be boring, right? I feel like that's the big misconception with trading in a sense is that people feel like they always need to be trading all the time and you always have to be making profits and like, your whole world revolves around you making profits for the day, which I was in that position for the longest time. And I was always stressed out. But the thing with trading is that you want to have consistency. It's different when you're with a prop firm because a prop firm is always going to pressure you to make more profits, right? They're always like you have to make a certain amount to pass, then you have to make a certain amount to get a payout, then you have to make a certain amount on a certain basis for you to actually request a payout and stuff like that. That stuff isn't it 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 instills like bad habits into people, right? Because you start to take like a lot of bad trades. So for example, if you wanted to take those types of trades and you still want to be with a high probability of trading, I would say stick to the MPSV2. But if you want to stick to the algo, this stuff will give you trades, like high quality trades, but they're not going to come up as often until that month happens, right? I think once we get to another month, like here, and I'll show you guys again over here from my so I'll show you guys here. So like from October, right? If you can hang on to like no trades for a while, there's going to be another month like this in October where you can make all the profits that will cover your entire year, basically. Like for October, I made a crazy amount, right? We made 477,000, almost half a million in just 1 month. And then I haven't had anything really much for November, small profit and small loss over here for December. Because that's just how the market is, right? I had a loss over here for September. August had a pretty decent month. But again, like you just have to be able to weather the storm because there's going to be months where it's going to be slow and there's going to be months where it's going to be super fast and busy and a lot of trades coming in. But yeah, if there's anything else here, I mean, if I can answer whatever questions you guys have. Otherwise, it looks like Masij is already gone for the day. And yeah, CJ said over here for anyone trying to pass an evaluation, just know that price is at an unusual all-time high right now due to recent political events. Once market corrects itself, it'll definitely get better. Yeah, so that's the same thing we were thinking about earlier from this year, right? I was like, okay, the market has been kind of weird for the past couple months. And of course, I'm expecting there to be volatility and more direction. But unfortunately for now, it's just we just don't have those entries because the algo isn't identifying entries around this period, or at least not identifying entries that have a high win rate. Because yeah, if you look at my list here, these are the only list of trades that I have or I mean, the 40/20s are good, but for the 60/30s, they're not going to be super consistent. You just have a lot of no entries. Pretty much no entries for today. There's just one entry over here at 7:30, which was a win, but it was against momentum. And then the 60/40 over here, there's a lot of entries here, but a lot of wins and losses. You'd basically be at a 2R, but you'd pay so much in fees and commissions for taking all these trades, right? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You take 10 trades, pay 10 trade commission, fees, expenses, and you basically be at break even because you make it 2R for the day, but you pay so much in commissions and fees that you're basically at break even. At that point, you're better off just not taking any trades. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. Otherwise, I'm hoping tomorrow we'll have a trade that we can take. If not, I'm sticking to the game plan and we're just going to continue with what we're doing here. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys back here on Friday. Have a great rest of your day. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, if not, we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow.